badge. Okay, very, very good. So good morning again and welcome. And so I want to, first of all, I just want to welcome each and every one of you to being here. To me, this is the most extraordinary adventure that any of us can actually take on. And that is an adventure in being able to really take on your personal life, to really improve the quality of your health and your vitality and your energy in your life. It takes tremendous courage to do this. And I want you to know that I honor and respect the courage that each of you has in being able to do this. Several of you have done this several times with me, okay? Bonifacio, this has been your fifth or sixth time with at least your fifth or sixth time with me. Mark, this has been this is your third time with me in a program. Dee, this is your second time with me, right? And Juan and Celeste, this is your second time with me. Devin, you're the newbie. Okay, you're the rookie. So, I want you all to know that I totally honor and respect your time, your dedication, your commitment in being here. It is so precious to me. I am committed, like no kidding, as most of you know, but I am committed to eliminating chronic disease from the face of the planet and empowering every single person to live a thriving, healthy, happy life. And that's why I do this. That's why I do this. I got a call last night from a very good friend of mine, and he said, Ruben, can you help me? My friend he's in trouble, and he's a diabetic, and and his kidneys are starting to fail, and they want to put him on dialysis by this Friday. And I've tried to tell him for the last couple of months to call you. Will you please call him? I've already told him about you, and I asked if you could call him. And so of course I called him. So last night, I'm saving a life. I'm saving a life, really empowering somebody to completely change their lifestyle so that he doesn't necessarily have to go to dialysis, and he could actually reverse his diabetes. And so that's what I'm out to do. And I'm committed to doing this. So I'm committed that this time that we spend together will be powerful for you. You'll get something. So look for all the nuggets you can get. Take notes on anything you want to take notes on. You got all the slides, you got the workbook, but take notes on things that are gems for you that you want to remember, that you want to really crystallize and use in your life. Be able to do that. And, we're going to spend 12 weeks together, and we're going to get to know each other really well. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we'll interact, and we'll be open, and we'll share, and I'll hold you accountable and support you and guide you. And I'm really committed that everybody has incredible breakthroughs. So I just want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being here, because it's part of my dream is to be able to shift the entire health of the planet. And it's my way of doing it, my way of transforming the planet. So thank you. All right, so let's get to know each other a little bit. And so I'd like to start with the elder statesman in this program, and that would be Bonifacio. Oh. So I just would like each of you to just introduce yourself a little bit briefly. We'll get to know each other a lot more as time goes on, but share a little bit about you and your health journey and what you're looking to get from being in the program. So Bonifacio, you're on.
Well, as you mentioned, I've been in this program way back when you were in Unity Church, which is at least a decade, if not longer. And I've always found a lot of value in it. And I'm in my 80s, and I find myself that I'm fortunate and very grateful to be alive. And yet one of my biggest issues is trying to stay on the wagon, like I say, in the lifestyle. And I know that, as you know, I've gone this lifestyle of I've been coached by you, and I've actually reversed my diabetes. I'm diabetic. I've been diabetic for at least 30 to 40 years. As a matter of fact, people are amazed, even the doctors, that I've been able to stay still, like it's with amputations or any of that severe stuff. And So this is the reason I decided to let me do it again, even though, like I told you, technology-wise, I feel that I'm very incompetent, and so I thought, oh God, I can't do this. But I thought, well, let me do it. And so again, I want to have a life that I can be a role model for those that follow me. And I have, like I say, 12 grandkids and 20 plus great grandkids. And I know some of them actually do quite well. I have a couple of them that are total vegan, and you can see the difference. Matter of fact, they're triplets. And the ones that are vegans out of the triplets, you can just see how vibrant they are. The one that isn't, it's almost you could do a commercial on it. And it's really rather interesting because that would be a great research to see where three individuals who are, like I say, triplets and different lifestyles, and the vegans, they blossom and they just shine. So anyway, thank you for providing this, and looking forward to it.
That's great. Thank you, Bonifacio. Thank you. All right, great. Mark, you're up next. No, you got to unmute yourself. Mark, you're still muted. Mark, you are still muted.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
So my name is Mark Rodriguez, and this is now the third time going through this program, and it's funny. I definitely what Bonifacio mentioned resonated with me in terms of being, getting off the wagon, off the lifestyle. I'm a father of twin daughters. They'll be turning 29 in November. Just buried my dad yesterday, and that was tough, really, really tough. So I know that my dad would want me to be the best me that I could be, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm going through this program again because I looked at the underlying reasons why my father passed away, and it had more to do with not paying attention to the details earlier on in his life. And so with the onset of dementia and Parkinson's and hypertension, those are things that, above and beyond the weight loss, which will come, I just had to learn to be patient and go through the process. And I'm looking forward to just recommitting myself towards a healthy lifestyle and not weight loss. It's not about weight loss for me. It's about just doing the things necessary, taking the steps necessary to give my future the ability to kind of just make the rest of my life the best of my life.
Love it. Really great. Really great. And our condolences on your father's passing. And you were there. I mean, I love what you shared about being there with him and how much you took care of him. So you got to see firsthand the effect of.
I witnessed advanced dementia come on, and there is nothing like spending time with someone you love who has raised you, and they don't know your name.
Right.
Painful, really, really painful. Yeah. So at all costs, and here's the other thing, in my lifetime, I have never witnessed life leave a body. And in one moment, I'm singing to him and telling him how much I love him. And the moment I told him, hey, Dad, don't worry about Mom. I got this. I'm going to take care of her. He took one last breath, and within seconds, the coloring from his face was gone. And it was wild to see life just expend like that, just the spirit leave so quickly. So yeah, that was enough of a wake-up call for me to realize that the whatever inconveniences that there are that might come my way in terms of steak or no steak, something unhealthy or something healthy, I have that as a reminder
Mhm.
that, you know, I really do want to enjoy life,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be a burden on my children. And I'm
Mhm.
54, and there's a lot of life out there in me, but
Mhm.
I've connected living the rest of my life to a higher purpose of
Mhm.
serving others and spreading this message as well.
Awesome. Really awesome. Yeah, really, really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It's probably one of the most powerful experiences for anyone is to be with somebody as they die, especially a loved one. And so you really get that as a powerful, indelible imprint on how precious your life is. And I really want to honor your sense of that, because it's a beautiful thing when you really
Thank you.
honor how precious your life is and you're willing
Absolutely.
to do what it takes to make it the best quality of life. That's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that, Mark. Okay, Dee, you're up.
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
So I
you're
can speak.
unmuted now.
I'm Deanna, but I go by Dee. And this is my second time doing the course. I did it last October, so it's actually been 1 year.
A year.
And at that point, I switched to a whole food plant-based diet. And I hadn't even started the program with that intention.
Yeah.
But I came away with that, and with the follow-up and the support, it was actually a very easy transition for me.
Mhm.
And even though my son is living with me and he's not totally vegan, he is very supportive. And so he willingly eats whatever I make. And
Great.
sometimes augments with a little In-N-Out burger and his other, interests. But that has been a very smooth transition and has improvements that I hadn't anticipated. Like Bonifacio, I've been concerned that I have a high A1C.
Mm.
That, my blood sugar level, and I feel, I haven't been tested recently, but I feel much better in that respect, and also in terms of other digestive issues that I had not really paid much attention to before.
Mhm.
So now I want to think about other ways of evolving.
Mm.
And it's been very difficult with this pandemic to exercise and those things, especially on a smoky day. That has completely fallen away.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested in what more to explore and move on to as a next goal for another year.
Great. That's so awesome. It's really awesome. And I have watched you over this past year, and for quite a few months after October, you'd come to the meetings that I had and the seminars that I had. And yeah, you really were improving a great deal. It's just awesome to see. So I'm really excited that you're here, Deanna. So Dee, I see, I read Deanna and then I have to remember to say Dee. But it's great that you're taking on the next chapter, the next next iteration of evolving. So I think that's a beautiful thing. Really great. Really great. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So Devin, you're up next.
Well, hello everybody. My name's Devin, and I'm on top of something right now. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say after Mark's introduction. I'm so sorry to hear that, Mark. My extreme condolences too. You caught me off guard a little bit. Made me think about my grandmother passing away a couple of years ago and how impactful that was too. It's a number of things right now. I'm turning 38 in the spring, and in the last couple of years, I've been a lifelong athlete, and I'm for the first time starting to notice the the body is not recovering as well as it used to. It's, I'm having aches and pains a lot longer, waking up with a crick in my back when I never did before. And my dad and my mom has had a number of different chronic illnesses her entire life, and they're kind of unknown. She's one of those medical anomalies where the doctors really can't figure out what exactly is wrong with her, but it's a number of hormonal and pituitary and just other issues. And my dad has just been one of those people that he stays active. He has an active job, but he does not take care of himself. And when I was 10, 15, 20, 25, your parents, like, they don't seem that unhealthy. Now, another 10, 15 years later from that, I'm seeing the effects of what they're going through and realizing I don't want to let myself get to that point. I don't want to have the bad health lifestyle up until I'm 45 or 50 and then start seeing all of those issues that my dad was having. And like, being somebody who was an athlete my whole life, I've already beaten my body up enough. I don't need to beat it up anymore. That, and then kind of Deanna, like you were saying, it's just been with the pandemic and wildfires. Like, I've always been a very active person, but this year, for one reason or another, has kind of gone the opposite direction. And Ruben, you came and spoke at our all-staff meeting back in March, and I was supposed to be in the April session, and
Yes.
I had to postpone a couple of times.
Yeah.
But when you came and spoke at our all-staff, it was just kind of a wake up of what's the life I want to have for the rest of my life, and start now. Like, don't wait until I'm realizing that there's something that I'm like, oh, that's not right. But to, I feel very fortunate that you came and spoke at my job, when I'm in my mid 30s.
Mhm.
And it was eye opening. It was awakening of like, there's stuff don't wait until you start finding something that's bothering you. Like, start now, start fresh, start new. And even as a young man, like, I have not been nearly as active as I usually or have been in the past. I recently went through a job change, and then with everything going on, and like, I was actually sitting down looking at some of the stuff last night, and I realized I don't think I've actually worked out other than moving apartments last weekend in 3 weeks, which is very rare for me. I would normally be the person that was 5 or 6 days a week doing something anyway. So it's just I need to take back control of my own time and my own life. Like, there's been a lot of different aspects that have taken control from me. I have not, like, I find stressed out just trying to find time to be active. I find myself being stressed out just thinking about trying to make a good meal, and then I just go buy something instead. I don't seem to like find time or make time or feel like I have time for mindfulness or any of that type of stuff. So it's just like, I did my stress test thing, and like, I'm up over like 550.
Okay. Got it.
I'd like to get that down to like below 200.
Yeah. Good. That's great.
Yeah. So
Really
I'm
great.
glad to be here. I'm excited to be able to go through this with all of you as well.
That's so great. Really great. You know, Devin, I'm excited to have you. You know, people your age group, to me, I would love to have a program with 100 of people in your age group. My eldest son is 34 and had a heart attack at the age of 31. Okay, and so that's the age group I really want to be able to see more of, and your mindset of being proactive and being able to look ahead and say, wow, I don't want to end up like my mom or my dad or this or that, and I want to be able to make a change for me and start now. And I'm so glad that I had the chance to speak at your company. Devin works for Caltrans, so so it's really great to be able to speak to you, and I'm so glad that it connected with you. And I'm so inspired to be able to have people that are younger than me in the program. So it's great, and I'm very inspired by you being here, and I'm really committed that you get a lot out of being in this program. It'll be awesome for you. It'll be great, and then you can go out and get a whole bunch of people your age group to come and join and start to make some positive changes, because what I'm seeing is that, you know, the millennial age group, they have a commitment to really living fully, I think, is generally speaking in terms of that age group. But they need to write a lot of good information. So there's so much misinformation that's out there. So to be able to get good quality evidence-based information can really make a difference. So I'm so glad that you're here. Really awesome. All right, thank you for sharing. And then John and Celeste. Okay, you are on. You have to unmute yourself. Okay, there you go.
We're unmuted.
Yes.
Oh, all right. I'll go first. My name is Celeste, and I think this is the second time or the second
or third.
Yeah, second or third. It's
Yeah.
been a few years since our last session.
Yeah.
And,
Sounds like a confession, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Oh my gosh, it's confession time. Anyway, yeah, when I first went to Ruben for Evolving Health, I had depression for about, let's say, 50 years.
Yeah, you said about 50
years.
years. Yeah.
Years. And when I changed my diet, I mean, we were already plant-based, but not as full. We wanted to increase our percentage to eat plant-based foods. And then the moment I did that, within a week's time, I noticed that my emotions were stable. And so that was, in a way, it was a miracle. So I wrote Ruben.
If I could interrupt you for 1 second, I still remember that day, because you know what? Because John was the one who told me, thank you. I have my wife.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have my wife back. I've never known her to be this way.
Yes.
I remember when he said that, it just touched my heart.
Yes.
So deeply.
Yes, it really does improve your life. I mean, and so right now we're about 85% plant-based. And for me, my goal here is to reverse my diabetes. I noticed that my vision has blurred.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign. And I also have a heart problem.
Mm.
And the one critical thing I know is that you mentioned before, am I coachable?
Yeah.
I am quite resistant.
Yeah.
I am 85% plant-based. But I think my goal is to have growth mentally and emotionally. And I think those are the foundations.
Yeah.
And I find it sometimes difficult. I go in a roller coaster, meaning not that my mood is, really peaking and, going down.
Yeah.
But that is my goal, to have the mental aspect of it, which, we become mentally strong. I think that's the foundation, and also the emotional strength.
Yes.
And with those two things, I think you become self-aware. And it's not as if we're perfect and we've accomplished that. That's why we're going back to you, to always have a mentor. And I think that's one of the bases. Everyone has a mentor. Even the top athletes have mentors.
Yeah.
And, so we decided, okay, we'll have a mentor. a life coach. Life coach.
Yeah, very good. Really awesome. Really awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you chose to do this. And I'm really committed that no kidding, let's get you to reverse your diabetes, reverse your heart situation. Let's not play games. Let's go all out. So let's do this.
Yes.
So awesome. John, I call him Juanito. That's my favorite name for him.
You want to say?
Or
I'm
you
the
can
only
call
one, besides his mother, I'm the only one that has ever called him Juanito.
either way, and I'll answer to anything.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm here along with my better half because we do want to get better health-wise. She has diabetes that she wants to reverse. I have hypertension that I need to reverse because I started on pills now, which I hate.
Mm,
I never had pills before. I started, when was it? Maybe almost a year ago.
mm.
And for hypertension. And it's only 25 grams a day. I mean,
Milligrams.
milligrams, yeah. That'll be huge.
25 grams is a lot.
Yeah, milligrams. And so, I want to cut that out.
Yeah.
If I can. And
Yeah.
I need to maybe lose my last 5 to 10 pounds, which is really difficult to do.
Mhm.
The last 10 pounds are really difficult. So I'm here, which I can't find any other better coach than you. So I figure, well, let's dive in again. Even though, last time we were there for 3 days or so, something like that.
It was 2 days. Yeah.
2 days. It was long 2 days. But
Yeah.
then after that, we were doing well
Mhm.
for about maybe a month or two. And then, although we had some follow-up, we didn't really have the 12-week follow-up.
No, that's
And,
not back then. The last time you did it was before I instituted the 12-week follow-up approach.
Yeah. For that
Yeah.
one.
And
You're
so we
gonna love this.
Right.
You're gonna love this because it really makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah, we need accountability,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it becomes a habit after a while.
Yeah, it does.
So it should be after 12 weeks. But we were off the wagon for a while. We did lose some weight, but then we just didn't know how to keep eating while it was still delicious to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Veganism can be pretty drab at times.
Mm.
Just eating lettuce or something that it's not too tasty. But I know we can actually cook it or not cook it, fix where it can be more tasty.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to that point, so we kind of fell off the wagon, so
Yeah.
to speak. And then we had some bad habits again, so we're back here again.
Yeah, it's so great that you're here. I'm so excited that you're here. And by the way, I've got so many more resources now in terms of tasty food.
Oh, good.
Tasty food. Okay, and the key is the spices, my friend. It absolutely is. I mean, I never was one for cooking food. I was so simple, right? It was very, very simple. But in the last several years, I have become much more attuned to what the spices are and being able to really enhance the flavor of foods. Oh my gosh, it's so great. It's so great. So I have this spice rack, and it's filled with all kinds of spices. And being Latino, I mean, I've got to have my flavor. I've got to.
Yes.
It really makes a difference. So I have got a lot of spices now, and I'm happy to share with you a lot of my little tricks and things like that. I mean, because red chili pepper, cumin, onion, garlic salt, oregano, basil, thyme. I mean, I got a whole host of things.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to set yourself up and learn how to use all these spices, lots and lots and lots. And it really makes a difference. And it's a lot of fun, actually. It's a lot of fun when you add the right flavor because it tastes so wonderful. And it's so great. I mean, I can make a potato taste like, oh. So really great. So thank you all. Thank you, John, for sharing, and thank you all. So let's dive in. We've got a lot to cover. And so we're going to go through a lot of material. I've sent you all the slides. I have sent you the old workbook. The slides are not quite accurate because the slides have been updated, but there's a few sheets in there that I'll refer to from time to time, not very many, but it's also available for you as a resource. So you want to definitely be able to use that. I'll let you know when we're going to be able to look at those. So so I'm going to shift over to PowerPoint mode. You'll still be able to see me in a small little frame, and then you'll see the PowerPoint image as well. So let me move things over here. So I have to do a little jockeying around here. Okay, so let me do this. It's been quite the interesting process to learn about how to do all of this. Okay, share screen. Okay, all right. So you should be able to see me. Can you all see me?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay, and then you've got the PowerPoint slide as well. Okay, so really great. So let's get started with the intensive. Let me share with you part 1 and part 2, the whole program. So part 1 is this weekend. So normally I do this over a weekend, but we're going to split it up over 2 weekends so that we can be able to not have too much time in front of a computer screen. So it'll be more comfortable for us to do that. What we're going to cover this weekend, part 1. Next weekend, part 2. Next weekend, part 2. So part 1, where we're going to talk about the 5 secrets to living a thriving, healthy, happy life, the process of creating breakthroughs, how you can create a breakthrough in any area of your life. And we'll learn about the 5 stages that you must go through in order to do that, because my commitment is that all of you create an honest to goodness breakthrough in your health. Like you're never going back again. Never go back again. And then we're going to talk about what we need to do on the inside as far as changing mindset, thinking, attitude, consciousness, and awareness. So that's what we're going to cover today. All right, those first 3 segments. And then tomorrow, what we'll cover is eliminating self-sabotage. Very powerful, really, really powerful, because we're going to look at the subconscious mind, because that's what runs the show. Our subconscious mind. We think we're consciously aware. We consciously function all the time. No, we don't. So we're going to look at our subconscious mind. And then we'll talk about the power of restructuring our beliefs and being able to do that very powerfully and effectively so that we actually rewire our subconscious mind in the positive direction so that we set ourselves up for success. And this is what champions do in sports. They do it in business. They do it in any area of life. And then we'll finish up talking about integrity and the foundation. We'll have some homework around that. So we'll do those 3 segments tomorrow. So that's what we're covering. And then part 2 is all next weekend. So that's very, very good. I'll talk more about that when we get there next weekend. All right. Any questions on that, by the way? I don't want you to ask questions anytime you want. Anytime you want, you can ask questions. Any questions on that? Okay, let's keep going. So let me tell you a little bit about the basis and the foundation for this whole program. So this is a lifestyle medicine immersion program. I'm so excited to be able to actually put the proper label on this. And it's because I am a lifestyle medicine professional. So lifestyle medicine is an evidence-based approach to prevent, reverse, and treat chronic disease. And it was established in 2004. In 2016, I attended the Plant-Based Nutrition Healthcare Conference for healthcare professionals all over the country and even the world. And it was in Anaheim. And when I went there, I discovered that there's this new branch of medicine called lifestyle medicine. I was totally intrigued. I checked it out. I fell in love. I said, this is what I've been looking for all of these years. I signed up. I went to my first lifestyle medicine conference in October 2017 in Tucson, Arizona. It was fabulous. And they announced the opening of the board certification examination. So it's open for physicians. Back then it was just open for physicians who were either MDs or DOs, and then also for professionals, for people with a PhD or a master's in a health-related field. I saw this as a golden opportunity. I said, I've got to do this. So I signed up, I studied for a year, and in October 2018, I went to my second lifestyle medicine conference and I passed my board exam, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So lifestyle medicine is based on looking at lifestyle in several different areas. So it's looking at lifestyle in the areas of nutrition, physical activity, emotional well-being and stress management, alcohol and tobacco reduction, healthy relationships, the sleep, and the area that I have added because it's so critically important, and there's a lot of evidence to back it up, and that is hydration. It's really important. So these are the areas that we're going to address in, for the most part, for all of these areas, we're going to address. Well, there's some areas that we're not going to dive into as much, but there's lots of material that I have. By the way, because of COVID-19, in the month of April, what I did is I loaded all my free seminars on my YouTube channel. So I have 17 two-hour seminars that I recorded and put on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my website, coachrubin.com, and on the toolbar, it says videos, click on that. It will take you immediately to my YouTube channel. So that is available for everyone for free. Lots and lots and lots of information. I have lots of great videos for everybody to watch. And I encourage people to check those out. In fact, that's what I did last night. So this gentleman that I talked to last night, he's diabetic, kidneys are failing. And so I spoke with he and his wife, and I said, all right, your homework assignment tonight is to go to my YouTube channel and watch Freedom from Diabetes. Freedom from Diabetes. So you want to make sure you watch that video, really important. In fact, they're gonna come and meet with me later today. So it's very important. So there's a lot of resource of information. So we're going to cover a lot of this over the course of next weekend, and even some this weekend too. So I am now board certified. I'm one of only about 500 lifestyle medicine professionals or physicians here in the United States. So it's really an honor. It's a privilege. I found my tribe. It's so exciting. It took me 30 years after I graduated from UCLA and my master's in public health to find my tribe. So it took me 30 years, but I did it, and I'm so excited. It's very exciting. So I get to live into this quote that Thomas Edison said well over 100 years ago. He said that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, none whatsoever, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. I love this. And this is what lifestyle medicine is about. It really is. When I went to the conference and I saw this quote being used as well, because I had already seen this quote, and this is what I've always aspired to. And I saw this being used in the lifestyle medicine materials, and I go, I found my tribe. It was so exciting for me to see that. I also want to let you know what's different about me compared to a lot of other people out there is that I have absolutely no conflicts of interest, none whatsoever. And I'm very, very particular about this. I get approached all the time. People have all kinds of products. They have gimmicks. They have, they have all kinds of things that they want me to get involved with them in businesses, multi-level marketing, whatever the case may be. All kinds of things. I do not do any of that, okay? None whatsoever. So I have no products to sell you. I have no gimmicks, no schemes, none of that, all right? I'm a teacher, and I'm a coach. And so that's what I do. That's it. All right. So I have no products to sell to anybody. So I'm not out to get anybody anything. I have no protein powders for you. None of that. So so that's the thing about lifestyle medicine. We don't have products to sell you. We don't. It's all about teaching people how to change their lifestyle so that they become healthier. So it's really exciting to be able to do that. And in lifestyle medicine, we really truly believe that the greatest wealth that any of us can have is our health. And for me, I'm also an executive coach. So I coach business leaders in leadership development. My specialty is leadership development. I taught leadership and psychology at DeVry University for several years. And so I love teaching how young up and coming leaders how to become more effective as their leaders. And a critical component of leadership is being healthy, because an unhealthy leader is a less than fully productive leader. And an unhealthy workforce is a less than fully productive workforce. So it really is the greatest wealth that any of us can have, because once we lose it, we don't have much. As Aristotle said, a man who has his health has 1,000 wishes. A man who does not has but only one wish. And it's really important that we remember that. So I'm going to invite you all for this whole program to really take on having an open mind. I'm a student. I always have been. I always will be. And I have many, many teachers. And so some of you know that one of my famous teachers has some words of wisdom to impart to you right here, right now. I will invoke his spirit. You must unlearn what you have learned. Okay, so I'm hoping that you're willing to have an open mind, okay? All right, have an open mind. Yes, I know. Celeste always laughs when she hears that. I don't know if you've heard me do that one, Celeste. So that's my favorite, one of my favorite teachers in Yoda. So it's really important for us to unlearn. And really, this is what we're going to spend time doing this weekend, is unlearning. The process is to unlearn the things that are in the way, because we all put our own barriers in the way. And so we're going to spend time this weekend. It's really important, because getting new information doesn't make us better. It just doesn't. So we need to make sure that we have the barriers removed. We need to be able to address those barriers that are in the way. And so we're going to spend time this weekend unlearning. We're going to remove those barriers that get in the way for us. So some of you have been in the program several times. This is deep work. It really is. And it's very important for us. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to go through the first segment right now, and we'll start with this. And that's the 5 secrets to creating a thriving, healthy, and happy life. So let's dive into that. So this part is so critical. It's the foundation. And it's the first chapter in my new book that I'm writing. I'm still writing it. I'm on chapter 20 right now. So I've got 10 more chapters to go. And so this is chapter 1. It's 5 secrets to creating a thriving, healthy, and happy life. So we start this work by diving into a quote that my dear professor, Dr. Michael Kalitsky, said to me when I was in my undergraduate training at Cal Lutheran University. And he said this: remember that all of life is in one of 2 states at any given moment. Either it is surviving or it is thriving. And that's all there is. And he said it like that, which pretty much shocked me at the moment. And I raised my hand and I said, Dr. Kalitsky, are you saying it's just one or the other? And he said, that's exactly what I just said, Ruben. I raised my hand again. I said, there's got to be a bell-shaped distribution curve to this. I just finished taking statistics. He said, no, it's one or the other. And then I raised my hand again. I'm still not getting it, Dr. Kalitsky. He said, sit with it, Ruben. You'll figure it out. Well, I was one of those that needed the answers. And I didn't get it, because sometimes he made me think, as he oftentimes did. And I thought about it, and I sat with it for 3 years. 3 years until I finally was able to figure it out. I was in my first year of medical school at UC Davis School of Medicine. We're taking lots of different classes about how the body functions and how it works in a healthy state. So one of the classes was embryology, which is the study of the embryonic period of human development, which is from the moment of conception to the point where everything is there. Now it just gets bigger, and then we call it a fetus after that. So it pretty much corresponds with the first trimester of human development. So early on, I learned that we all look like this. This is a ball of cells, and all the cells look alike. You can't tell them apart. So at this stage, we call it the blastomere. It's a blastomere, blasto meaning ball. So it's a sphere of cells. So it's a blastomere. Now what happens is that this ball of cell gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually gets big enough, then it starts to fold inward, and then it starts to form this tube of cells that will become the first organ system of the body to become distinguishable and operational. So this tube of cells is known as the neural tube. Test question for those of you who did not remember this. Okay, so it's the neural tube. So the neural tube, now it's important to understand here, the neural tube gives rise to what we call the central nervous system. So it's the limbic brain, which is the core of the brain. So those are all the distinctive features of the central portion of the brain. Deep inside the brain, we have the hippocampus, the amygdala, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the pituitary, all of those, and they're all connected to the entire spinal cord. So this part of the brain is what develops first. The outer part, which is the cortex, that develops later. So this is the early part of the body's development. It's the central nervous system, which basically runs the body. So it's going to establish the nerves and the connections to every organ system in the body. And it has to be able to do that in order for the body to develop. So this is the electrical system of the body. So we have to have that. It's just like building a house. To build a house, you better put your electrical wiring in early, not later, not afterwards. So you want to have the electrical wiring in early. So it's the same with the human body. Now, the professor said this. He said, once this electrical system is put in, it functions just like any other electrical system. You've got two currents. You've got a positive current, which is referred to as the parasympathetic branch. So the parasympathetic branch, when it is on, it's going to affect all the organ systems of the body, every cell in the body, all at the same time. This is an important concept to get. When the parasympathetic system is on, it is affecting every organ system and every cell in the body, including the brain itself, all at the same time. So it's a parasympathetic state, as the professor said. It's the parasympathetic state. It's a whole state for the entire body. The whole body is running that current of the parasympathetic state. Now, when we're the negative wire is the sympathetic state. The sympathetic branch of the central nervous system, when it is on, it's going to affect every organ system in the body, every cell in the body in the opposite way. Now, this is fundamental to understanding how we can become healthy. It is absolutely the crux of the matter. Because we're operating, here's what the professor said that got my attention, is that when we get this system running, we are either operating in the parasympathetic state or the sympathetic state at any given moment. We do not operate both at the same time. That would cause a short. So we operate in one state or the other. Now we can go back and forth between the two, but we do not operate both at the same time. That's when I got the connection from what Dr. Kalitsky had said. that we are either surviving in the sympathetic state or we are thriving in the parasympathetic state. And that's all there is. This is the foundation for everything that we're going to talk about. It all begins here. This is a critical concept to understand. What we need to be able to do is recognize that we function in either of these states. If we are in the sympathetic state, we are reacting to stress. We're in the state of survival. It's all our primal tendencies. By the way, when we're in the sympathetic state, we're operating very primal. Okay, so we get irritated, get frustrated, annoyed. We're looking to survive. You know, we have all the defense strategies, all those things. We're very primal. We may recognize fight, flight, freeze, or fold, but even as subtle as a perceived threat is enough. It's enough to trigger the sympathetic state. What we see in the literature is clear that this being in the state of dis-ease far too much is the single common thread of all chronic disease. For whatever reason, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever drive, those are the four basic fundamental human energies. So whenever we're physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually in the state of stress and survival, and we're in the sympathetic state for whatever reason, and we stay in that state, that is going to promote chronic disease. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, strokes, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, hypertension, you name it. It all goes on. That's from being in the sympathetic state far too much. The body can't heal itself if it's in the sympathetic state far too much. So we have to become aware. So this whole process of lifestyle medicine is being able to become aware what's putting us in the sympathetic state, and then how can we shift out of the sympathetic state and get into the parasympathetic state more of the time. More of the time. So this is where our body's able to thrive. We restore. We're able to digest our food, ideas, everything else. Fun, play, and ease exists in the parasympathetic state. We thrive. And more importantly, for those of us who have chronic disease conditions, this is how the body heals. So to heal from diabetes, to heal from hypertension, to heal from cancer, to heal from hypertension, what we need to be able to do is shift the central nervous system state from being too much in the sympathetic to being predominantly in the parasympathetic. Now, can I eliminate all stress in your life? I don't think so. I wish I could. Okay. However, what we can do is we can win the game of being able to be in the parasympathetic state more of the time. And as a result, allow the body to heal itself. And this is what we talk about in lifestyle medicine. What we realize from the evidence is that when we shift lifestyle, first and foremost, we shift mindset and lifestyle. When we shift mindset and lifestyle, the body heals itself far better than any medication, far better than any treatment could ever do. And it's substantial. It's substantial. It's really quite amazing. It's really quite amazing. So that's what we're going to dive into. All right. So we're going to take a short break here. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the 5 elements that influence our central nervous system state. So we're going to talk about those 5. And so that be ready, because these are the ones that you have total control over. Okay. All right. Now I'll stay on here for a few minutes, but if you need to run to the bathroom, get some water, do that. You got 11:06. At 11:06, we will start. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording. Let's see here.
Fascinating, isn't it? I know where you are most of the time. I think I know where you are most of the time.